People have been coming to this place for 11,000 years. They came for the water that was always here, awaiting them in the draws and springs. They came to hunt bison, pick hackberries, dig wild onions. Nomads they were, always leaving to return next season, next year. And for 10,000 of those years, that's how it was. Until the Spanish brought the horse to America. The horse changed everything. It made the Comanche the fiercest and finest of nomads. It pulled the wagons that pushed the frontier. It mounted the cavalry, sent to protect the new borders, carried the buffalo hunters and hauled the hides from the slaughter. With the buffalo gone, the Comanche were forced onto the reservation. Then came the New Mexican shepherds, the pastores, the stone corrals they built in Yellow House Canyon, making them the first permanent settlers in the county. The farmers didn't wait long either, nor did the merchants or the ranchers. The small Quaker farming community of Estacado appeared in 1879. George Singer built his first store in 1882. And the IOA Ranch staked out 100 sections in 1884, marking its north boundary with a barbed wire fence that ran along present-day 19th Street, stretching all the way across the county. Among the first of those who came to stay were people with vision, people who could see a treasure hidden in the vast, flat, level lands. There was no city, but they could see one. A city waiting only for a seed to be planted. In 1890, W.E. Rayner laid out the town of Monterey south of the canyon. Later that same year, two ranchers, Frank Wheelock and Raleigh Burns, platted rival North Town on the other side. Buildings in each town sprang up from the prairie like new grass in the spring. Even a hotel, the Nicollet in North Town. It was clear that a fight for the county seat was brewing. But then something happened that was to shape this place for a century. The two sides agreed to a compromise. They moved both towns, buildings and all, including the two-story hotel, to a third site halfway in between. They named it Lubbock. By March of 1891, it was the seat of the newly organized county, and by Independence Day it had blossomed into a town of 250 folks. Nowhere on the southern plains was a place growing so fast. If cooperation in the town's founding set a precedent, so did the steady growth of its first decade. By the turn of the century, Lubbock had a newspaper, a school, a hotel, an insurance firm, a barber shop, a blacksmith shop, a lumber yard, 2 merchandise stores, 2 doctors, and 2 lawyers. Farmers were growing Kaffir corn, Milo, and cotton. The aughts, the years between 1900 and 1910, saw Lubbock become the region's most progressive town. A city in the making. It got its first bank, a telephone company, a cotton gin, an independent school district, and its first residential addition. The new neighborhood, named for its developer, Dr. M.C. Overton, fell between 4th and 19th Streets and moved the edge of town west from present-day Avenue Q to present-day University Avenue. Lubbock is a western city, always has been. Like all western cities, it's a creature of movement, built from and for transportation. From the start, Lubbock streets have been wide and straight and well planned. So well that in 1909 there may have been more streets than automobiles. But that just means they were ready for a future that was already beginning. The first railroad, the Santa Fe, came that year. So did the first movie house, the Orpheum. and the first seniors graduated from Lubbock High School. The community had outgrown the town, so they made it a city, incorporating and electing Frank Wheelock as the first mayor in April 1909. Lubbock already had a sense of itself, maybe a little enthusiastic. But that kind of enthusiasm comes of success and pride in that success. In 1909, the editor of the Avalanche hired Lubbock's first professional booster, Don Hampton Biggers. He believed what he promoted, saying many years later, "Lubbock will just continue doing things that compel your attention. They practically have a monopoly on the system of cooperation and efficiency. That town is famous for making everything unanimous. Its greatest asset is the fact that 98% of the people are a unit when it comes to working for the material interest of the town." And they worked indeed. The first irrigation well was completed in 1910. Businesses continued to grow, and with more new rail lines and several new roads, the newly christened Hub of the Plains became the trade and commerce center of the region. And when folks came to town, they traveled on streets newly paved with brick. 20 blocks worth by 1920, like those pavers, solid and hardy, practical and progressive, Lubbock was ready to roar into the 20s.